Jeff Nguyen tells us how this wind could whip up problems for allergy sufferers. But first, meteorologist Evelyn Taft is here with the latest warnings.
Sharon, we're looking at a red flag warning, as you mentioned. We're also looking at a high wind warning and wind advisories all across the Southland tonight. We're going to start off with that red flag warning. You're going to see pretty much the entire Southland affected, with the exception of the high desert there. We're going to zoom in a little closer and show you exactly what we're looking at. You'll see that fire weather warning. That's in effect through 6 o'clock, and that's 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. And most of the warnings and advisories actually staying in effect through Saturday morning. Just a few exceptions there. The next thing on our list, that wind advisory that's currently in effect right here. You're going to see for the mountains, and you'll see that staying in effect through Friday. That's tomorrow at 6 o'clock for spots like Burbank, Glendale, Simi Valley, and Thousand Oaks as well. Also the mountains affected at the moment in Ventura County. Watches and warnings right here. Your high wind warning in effect for our local mountains. That's currently in effect and staying in effect through 5 a.m. and that's 5 a.m. on Saturday. Also affecting cities along the Orange County coastline. Take a look. Spots like Anaheim, a little further inland, in Irvine, along with the coast, along with Riverside and Santa Ana, all affected by this high wind warning. So we're dealing with several warnings, and we're dealing with windy conditions as we speak. You'll see right here in Santa Clarita, the winds coming in from the north at 18 miles an hour. These are your sustained wind speeds. Closer to the ocean, that's where we're expected to see some of our windiest conditions, getting reports of blowing sand along the coast as well. 20-mile-an-hour sustained winds, and that's for Santa Monica. A closer look at the spots where we're really looking at the windy conditions through Castaic right there, 21-mile-an-hour sustained wind speeds. Santa Clarita at 18, 20 in Simi Valley, Calabasas at 22, and as we head out to Malibu, 10-mile-an-hour sustained wind speeds. And you'll see the wind gusts over the last 24 hours, 61 in Malibu Hills, 46 in Saugus and Newhall Pass, 39 miles an hour. We'll have more on the wind and your extended forecast coming up in just a bit. Back to you.
Every year we remind people.
I haven't heard
that,
jack-o'-lanterns in a long time, by the way. Pumpkins, right?
Pumpkins, they're jack-o'-lanterns.
And you want to tie them down the next couple of nights if you have a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin, because
I would maybe wait to carve it, because that density will actually help
hold it down.
Because the wind might just pick it up, right?
Exactly.
Forget the ball and chain. Use a pumpkin.
Pumpkins. There we go. Yeah, I would hold everything down. We're not just talking about pumpkins, but we're talking about umbrellas and furniture that's outside, anything on the patio, anything on your deck in your backyard, because it could possibly blow away tonight. It's that windy. It was windy last night. You guys probably noticed. A lot of you probably noticed. It's even windier tonight. The winds are starting to pick up all over again. We did see pretty windy conditions all across the Southland. The coast. Take a look right here. It looks a little calmer as we zoom out a little bit, but it is very windy at the coast. In fact, 20-mile-an-hour sustained wind speeds as we speak in Santa Monica. These are your current wind gusts that just came in, actually your peak wind gusts to be exact, over the last 24 hours, and this is since 5 o'clock. These numbers just coming in. We saw 48-mile-an-hour wind gusts in Malibu Hills, Castaic at 35 miles an hour. Over to the south coast to Montecito, 42 miles an hour, in Whitaker Peak at 63 miles an hour in the LA County Mountains. So already very windy out there. We're dealing with several wind advisories across the Southland, including spots like Burbank, Glendale, Simi Valley, Thousand Oaks. Things are really starting to pick up right now in Simi Valley as we speak. Actually getting a few reports and phone calls out of Simi Valley saying that it is quite windy already. Take a look. Your watches and warnings. We're looking at high wind warnings across most of our mountains here in the Southland, and that high wind warning is staying in effect through 5 a.m. and that's 5 a.m. on Saturday. This includes Orange County as well and the Orange County coastline. The majority of the Southland under a red flag warning. You're going to see all of the pink on your screen indicating just that. Just a few spots. Want to show you cities like Long Beach, even downtown, Oxnard along the Ventura County coastline, and Torrance affected by this red flag warning. So it's not just the mountains, it's pretty much the entire Southland, the basin, even the coast. Everybody dealing with very warm and dry conditions along with windy conditions. Let's get a look at current wind speed. Santa Clarita currently coming in at 18 miles an hour. Santa Monica currently at 20 miles an hour. And as we take you through your wind forecast, we're going to fast forward the clock here and show you what we can expect over the next few hours. By 5 a.m., and that's first thing tomorrow morning, you're going to see things really starting to pick up for the Santa Clarita Valley through the Grapevine right there, even through the Riverside County Mountains, San Bernardino County Mountains, the Santa Anas, and of course the Orange County coastline. Spots like Fullerton picking up to about only 9 miles an hour by tomorrow at 6, but we are expecting windier conditions and staying very windy. You're going to see spots in the Santa Clarita Valley really bearing the brunt of the rain, or not the rain, the wind rather, and all the way out to the Ventura County coastline to Oxnard. That's where we're looking at very windy conditions. Spots like Thousand Oaks, spots like Simi Valley, already looking at very strong winds out there. By Friday evening, it's a little calmer, so the peak of this event is tonight. It's lasting through tomorrow. We're still expecting windy conditions tomorrow into your Saturday, but again, we're bearing the brunt of it as we speak. As we carry on through your Sunday, it's calmer, but it's still hot. It's a little cooler by your Monday and even cooler by your Tuesday. Rick and Sharon, back to you.
Okay.
Well, Rick and Sharon, it's going to be pretty bad, and you might not recognize this shot right here. That's not happening here at home. We want to direct your attention actually to the East Coast, actually down to Florida to be exact. We're talking about Sandy right now, and then we're going to be talking about our windy forecast here at home. So this is actually from WSVN in Miami. Take a look at the water already crashing up along the land there. And, well, Hurricane Sandy not quite making its way to Florida yet, but let's get a look at our tropical satellite, and we'll show you what we're working with right now. Take a look right here. So Sandy is starting to graze the coast of Florida, not making a direct hit there. We're particularly concerned actually about the northeast. There's been talk about it over the last couple of days, and looks like this forecast could pan out. Let's get a look at your forecast cone, your hurricane tracker right now, showing you just that. Hurricane Sandy eventually turning into Category 1 and a tropical depression as it makes its way along the eastern seaboard. This is the big concern. It's going to merge with this low right here, and as it does, and if it does, it could really provide some severe weather for the northeast. It would turn into a nor'easter, and that would bring maybe up to a foot plus of rain, of snow, so could be very messy come next week. We will continue to track Sandy for you. Of course, we're tracking our local forecast as we were discussing earlier, and let's get right to that forecast. We've got high fire danger. It's the first Santa Ana event of the fall season, and it's the worst of the event. Actually right now, taking place right now. The wind's starting to kick up, lasting through tomorrow morning. We've got wildfire conditions. What does that mean? We're looking at dry vegetation. We're also looking at very windy conditions mixed in with low humidity. So the combination of the three making for critical fire danger out there. We've got a red flag warning that kicked in. It's staying in effect through Saturday. Just a reminder, you want to clear the debris from your roof. You want to observe parking restrictions in your neighborhood as well. And of course, you want to make a plan. Again, we are across the Southland experiencing this red flag warning. It's not just in one limited neighborhood, it's very widespread. So we're going to be going over those warnings coming up in a little bit. But do want to just take you through this. So fires generate wind, and when we do have fires, we see those strong updrafts and swirling winds that spread the wildfires. Thankfully, we're not looking at anything of the sort, but we are keeping our eyes out on the situation. We've got high fire danger here in the Southland. The spots indicated by the orange, yellow, and darker orange on your screen, indicating the spots that are really prone to fire danger at this point. Windy conditions and some of the driest conditions through the Santa Clarita Valley, through the Ventura and through the LA County mountains. More on fire danger and of course more on our winds and Sandy. That's all coming up a little bit later. Back to you.
Evelyn, a lot of dust in the air.
Yeah, lots of dust. Allergies are going off. And to answer your question, Rick, yes, it does translate to windy and choppy conditions out on the water. We've got a gale warning in effect along the water and lots of watches and warnings in effect this evening. We're taking a look at LAX just behind the pylons. Take a look at the flag blowing in the wind. So just to show you, it is that windy out there, and we're going to have those current conditions coming up for you in just a minute. Want to break down all the advisories and the warnings out there. We have several wind advisories in effect or going to effect in a matter of just a few hours, lasting through tomorrow at this point. Most of the advisories, at least. They range from the coast all the way up to the Hollywood Hills. So we're looking at very windy conditions along the Ventura County coastline as well. You'll see that wind advisory in effect through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, including spots like Burbank, Glendale, Simi Valley, and Thousand Oaks. So parts of the valley affected as well. As we get a look at your watches and warnings, we're showing you your high wind warnings, several of them in effect for our local mountains all the way out to the Orange County coastline. And those are staying in effect through 5 a.m., generally through 5 a.m. on Saturday, including cities, as we mentioned, like Anaheim, Irvine, Riverside, and Santa Ana. As we get a look at that red flag warning, well, we've got several red flag warnings spanning across the entire Southland, even along the coast. So pretty much everybody looking at dry conditions, windy conditions as well. And you'll see right here, fire weather warning in effect through tomorrow evening for spots even like Long Beach, downtown, Oxnard, Torrance. Usually we think the mountains, but it's not just the mountains this time, even though we are seeing some of the windiest conditions in the mountains. These are our peak wind gusts over the last 24 hours, actually since 5 o'clock to be a little more specific there. Malibu Hills coming in at 48 miles an hour. A little earlier this evening, we got up to 61 miles an hour. That was actually late afternoon, around 4 o'clock. Castaic, 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Poppy Park in the high desert, 38 miles an hour. Montecito, closer to Santa Barbara there in Santa Barbara, 42 miles an hour. And Whitaker Peak in the 60s earlier today. Currently, wind speeds coming in at 22 miles an hour. That's for Santa Clarita. And you'll see wind speeds again up and temperatures up as well. 71 in Anaheim, 70 in downtown, 73 in Long Beach, 69 in Laguna Beach, and 59 in Temecula this evening. Earlier today, we made it to 85 in downtown, well above average, and the entire Southland above average and staying above average over the next few days. 80s into our inland spots, in the coast in the 80s, eventually turning to the 70s by Monday and Tuesday. Rick and Sharon, back to you.
All right, thanks.
First forecast app.
Sharon, very windy out there as we just saw at the Santa Monica Pier. We're taking you to LAX. You'll see right behind the pylons the flag currently blowing in the wind, and it is very windy, not just at the coast, but across the entire Southland. Want to get a look at current wind speeds? Take a look. The warmer colors on your screen, the reds, the oranges, the yellows, indicating some of the windiest spots as we speak. 19-mile-an-hour sustained winds in Santa Clarita right now. 22-mile-an-hour sustained winds for Santa Monica. And as we head over to downtown, 14-mile-an-hour sustained winds as we speak as well. Wind gusts above that, 20, 30, even 40 miles an hour in some spots. Take a look at the pink on your screen, the red, the orange, the yellow. Those are the windiest spots. We're zooming in on the spot to show you exactly what we're looking at tonight. Castaic, 26-mile-an-hour winds, as we mentioned. Santa Clarita, 19. Simi Valley sustained at 25. Calabasas, 26. And Malibu up at 21 miles an hour. In the last few hours, Malibu Hills clocked in at 48 miles an hour. Even before that, got up to 61. We're going to continue to track the winds for you and the rest of your forecast. That's all coming up in just a little bit, so don't go away. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Evelyn.
And we're tracking the wind out there. You'll see very windy right here at the Santa Monica Pier and all across the Southland. Your full forecast coming up.
And is that right?
It's the Santa Ana winds, absolutely. It's the first big Santa Ana event of the season as we take you outside back to Santa Monica. This shot really pretty amazing. Take a look. The camera's shaking. Looks like the Ferris wheel's shaking, but that's not the case. And you'll see the flag blowing around in the background as well. Looking at 20+ mile-an-hour sustained winds in Santa Monica as we speak. As far as watches, warnings, and advisories go, we've got wind advisories in place. You'll see for spots like Burbank, Glendale, Simi Valley, Thousand Oaks in effect through tomorrow evening. We're also looking at wind warnings in effect. They're lasting through your Saturday morning, and this includes Orange County, the Orange County coastline, the IE, the LA County mountains, and spots like Anaheim, Irvine, Riverside, and Santa Ana, all included in these areas. You'll see a red flag warning in effect for the entire Southland as well. That's staying in effect through 6 o'clock, and that's 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. So we're looking at very dry conditions, very warm conditions, and very windy conditions as this ridge of high pressure continues to set up over Southern California. We're looking at clockwise rotation around that high, and those are the northerly winds that are coming in off the mountaintops, compressing and drying things out. So that's why those Santa Ana winds are very warm, very dry. You're going to see temperatures well above average for this time of year as a result as well. Currently, we're looking at 23 mile-an-hour sustained winds for Santa Clarita, 18 for Santa Monica, 11 for Burbank and along the coast. A little more mellow in spots like Long Beach, but not the case for Santa Monica. By tomorrow morning, still looking at very windy conditions. The warmer colors on your screen, the reds, the pinks, the yellows, and oranges, indicating some of the windiest spots across the Southland. By 9 a.m., still very windy. Riverside at 21 miles an hour, Fullerton at 13. You'll see Santa Clarita up at 36. These are your sustained wind speeds
speeds. So your wind gusts even higher than that. We're expecting 60+ mile-an-hour wind gusts in some of the mountain locations. We're jumping ahead to Friday night. Things are a little calmer, not quite as windy as what we're expecting tonight. And by Saturday, first thing in the morning, still windy. Not until Saturday afternoon, Saturday night are we expecting calmer conditions. And even by Saturday evening, it's still pretty breezy out there, especially in spots like the Santa Clarita Valley and the San Fernando Valley as well. Earlier today, in fact, just a few moments ago, we clocked in at 53 miles an hour, and that's for Malibu Hills. Poppy Park at 38 miles per hour, and that's in the high desert. Montecito at 42, Whitaker Peak in the Angeles National Forest at 63. Your 5-day forecast showing you 80s turning to 70s and 60s in the mountains. Back to you.